My name is Ryan Bousfield. I run a company called Wolf and Wood. We're the developer behind C-Smash VRS.
My name is Jörg Tittel, and I run a company called RapidEyeMovers, and I'm director of C-Smash VRS and publisher, I guess. And you're listening to the SEGA Lounge.
Welcome to the SEGA Lounge, where we celebrate our love for all things SEGA, including the games, the music, and the community. I'm your host, KC. Join me as I talk to different guests and learn more about their projects and passion for SEGA. Hello and welcome to the SEGA Lounge. So glad you could join me for another episode. If by any chance you're new around here, hi! This podcast is all about SEGA and about all of the SEGA in this world. Not just the games, but the people in the community and their fantastic work, the music, the blue skies, and everything in the middle. And not just the most well-known games either. Sometimes we go deep, like really, really deep. Our huge catalog of interviews and special shows is available everywhere you get your podcasts from, but you can also find them categorized and sorted out neatly on our website, thesegalounge.com. Take a seat, have a drink, and I hope you enjoy your stay around the lounge. I think you will, considering what a treat I have for you this week. This week on the SEGA Lounge, we're jumping into the world of virtual reality with Jörg Tittel and Ryan Bousfield, two of the people behind C-Smash VRS. If you're a hardcore Dreamcast fan, you might remember Cosmic Smash, an arcade and Dreamcast game released almost exclusively in Japan in 2001. Think of it as futuristic squash. Well, Jörg, our returning guest, decided to bring it back in 2023 in VR, and he went to Ryan's talented team at Wolf and Wood to accomplish this. With SEGA's blessing, the game is now out for PlayStation VR 2 to both the critics and gamers' joy alike. Listen on to hear more about the development process, what's still in store for C-Smash VRS, and what was probably the most intense SEGA Lounge challenge ever. Hello, Jörg. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the SEGA Lounge. Really nice to have you on the show.
Greetings.
Yes. Greetings. Hey. Welcome back, Jörg, by the way. One of our most popular guests ever.
Really?
Very good. Yes, your episode is one of the most listened to episodes ever on the SEGA Lounge.
So why wear the t-shirts with my face on them and stuff? What's going on?
I don't know. People do have them, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
People have them, yes. So welcome to the SEGA Lounge, guys. And so I usually start with like a short introduction. I don't want to make you repeat yourself, Jörg. So very briefly, and for people who want to become more familiar with you, they can listen to the previous episode you were on. But very briefly, what have you been up to?
Well, this year has been a bit busy because Ryan and his team at Wolf and Wood and I have released 2 games in succession, which is an act of madness. The first one is The Last Worker, which came out at the end of March, the same week as the demo for C-Smash VRS. Which we've just released at the end of June on PlayStation VR 2. The Last Worker is a game for VR, consoles, and PC, a narrative first-person adventure, which we're very proud of. It's a big, epic game, and buy it. It's for Switch as well, and on VR and PC and consoles. And C-Smash VRS, of course, is based on Sega's gorgeous Dreamcast and arcade classic Cosmic Smash. We have reimagined it for VR and versus online gameplay, and it's been out for about a week now, and people love it, and we love it very, very much. And there's lots coming to it, but we'll talk about all this during the show. So stop me.
Okay. Yeah, amazing. That's great, and it's nice that the last time you were here, we recorded the interview before you announced The Last Worker. It was like a teaser that we played on the show. There was like some time travel shenanigans involved, so congratulations, first of all, both of you, for finally releasing The Last Worker, and obviously C-Smash VRS. Ryan, what about you? Would you like to tell us a little bit more about yourself? So how did you... Let's go a little bit more into the details of how you got into video games, for example, Ryan. How did you start maybe becoming a gamer or something?
I did become a gamer at some point, like a long time ago. So I've been into games, whole life. Obviously started with the Atari days, and built up from there, seeing the progression of everything. And as far as the career in video games, it kind of started as a bit of a side project, a bit of a thing I was interested in. Got hold of the DK1, the kind of prototype Oculus headset. Did a little prototype in that, little idea that I wanted to do, kind of 5-minute short horror story. And people enjoyed it. Seeing that online, seeing people like really go and take to it, I realized it was something that I could actually, take a little bit further. So I started Wolf and Woods, dove feet first into making a full game as a solo developer initially. Launched the game on the HTC Vive back in essentially the first, commercially available VR headset. And then from there, we've made 5 titles. The team's grown. We've got some highly skilled, multi-talented people working at Wolf and Wood now. So I can't carry on the solo developer story anymore. It's it's down to a lot of other people and a lot of extraordinary work that they're doing. So we're still a small team. We're still an independent team. There's 7 of us full time at the moment, so it's hardly a huge studio, but we get a lot done within the relative confines of what we are and what we have.
Mm-hmm. Although that said, Ryan makes it sound like he's now the guy manning the Excel spreadsheets, and everyone else is doing all the manual labor. When in fact, Ryan has his hands in everything as well, and it's really quite amazing to observe. I mean, I've never had a big team of anything working on my end in the film side, etc. Anyway, so I've had to teach myself how to edit, how to write, how to do whatever, all this kind of stuff. And it's the same with Ryan. And I think also, like, actually one thing I've always was meaning to ask you, Ryan, is like when people joined your team, I imagine that when you hire them originally, you don't hire them. Do you hire them on sort of multi-skill, on a sort of multi-skill basis, or do they tend to have like one that they're really good at, and then by seeing the way you work and how you apply yourself to all these different things, they also start working as multi-taskers and multi-talenters like you?
I think it's when hiring people, I do tend to go for people who are kind of straight out of university, because they're not kind of decided on a thing, or they're not set on a single thing. And it is quite good in that sense that people are still kind of open to different areas and excited to explore different areas. So I do find that works very well for the sort of team that we are. Obviously, if you have a very specific role and you're doing that role 5 days a week or however long, it's because I did hear about somebody who's made all the churches for a massive game, so they spent a year making churches, which is,
very specific.
It's very specific. Your architectural knowledge of churches is going to be fantastic, but at the same time, it's like maybe 9 months in, you might be thinking, yeah, I've got the gist of this now.
And
So
they can no longer make a fence. You know what I mean? You're like,
yeah, they've forgot what modern buildings look like.
Yeah. So the advantage of having people who are still figuring things out is that you can help them, and they can do many things, and they can explore with the help of others what they really, really want to do, and maybe they'll be skilled at many things, right?
Yeah,
Multi-talented people.
Absolutely. Everybody does end up kind of finding a groove and then running down that. And, we do ultimately aim for like people to have that T shape. If you read the Valve handbook from, I don't know, 15 years ago,
what is
multi-skilled.
is that the handbook of working on something for a long time and not releasing it?
Bird. Awesome. Yeah, but that's great. That's great. So how many people are working at your company right now?
So there's 7 people at Wolfenwood right now. Yeah,
Okay.
it obviously does vary.
And they're all just slamming doors right now at this moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Takeshi's Castle, where there's just that whole setup.
Excellent. So thank you for sharing, Ryan. And so let's get into C-Smash VRS. And my first question, I think it's probably you've answered this many times, I'm sure, but why Cosmic Smash?
It's funny. No one has asked us that question.
Really?
Before. Yeah, no, I mean, everyone just assumes, yeah, of course, like it's the obvious Sega brand that, oh wait, no, you're right. It's I don't know. I mean, I personally fell in love with it back in 2001. And when I first saw just one screenshot of it in an issue of Famitsu DC, which was Famitsu's or Japan's, leading video game magazines, Dreamcast, dedicated Dreamcast magazine. And I'd written an article for that particular issue, which is why I had it, because I only ever read things that have my own writing in them. No, but it had been said. No, it had been said.
It's because you said it. It's recorded, and it's now true.
No, but I had interviewed Yoshitaka Amano, the wonderful artist behind the Final Fantasy games, in New York, and for Famitsu. Why specifically for the Dreamcast edition? Since he never worked on a Dreamcast game, I don't know, but it ended up in that. And then in a couple of pages later, there was this one screenshot of this beautiful minimalist-looking corridor, white, with this little guy holding or whatever they are, holding a racket, and it said Naomi in the article. It was one of the few sort of words that I could discern that wasn't written in Japanese, and I was like, wow, this is coming to the arcade, so it must come to the Dreamcast as well. I'm so excited. And then, of course, like 3 months later, Sega discontinues the Dreamcast. And then it took a while longer for the Dreamcast release, which was like October, November. And that case was just beautiful. That beautiful minimalist design. I have it in the office here. I could bring it out. Where is it? Anyway, and it was such an iconic piece of design, and I bought it, and I played it, and I loved it so much. And so ever since then, I really dreamt about doing it in VR. It sounds silly because no one's making VR games in 2001, but that's not true, because I've always seen Sega as a VR company. So because ever since I stepped into an Outrun cabinet back in 1986, and I was 8 years old, like it was an immersive experience. I was essentially sitting inside a VR headset. It was fully, fully articulated, and the image was de facto wrapping around you, and the sound, and of course Sega also was the first VR arcade company. Sega was going to release the first commercial VR headset back in 1993 with the Sega VR, which they had shown off at CES. For $200 it was going to cost, and then Sega of America probably saw some kid vomit, and they decided against it because they would get sued. That's the long answer to it. So that's why Cosmic Smash, because it always felt like a world that I wanted to step inside of. And when I told Ryan about it, it was sort of like a year, I guess, into developing The Last Worker. Ryan said like, yeah, well, let me know if it becomes a thing or whatever, then we can talk about it. And then it became a thing, and then I gave him no choice.
Yeah, but it's a legitimate question, right? Because it's not really that mainstream. And as you said, it was released in Japan for the arcades and for the Dreamcast, but never left Japan. So if you're not really like a hardcore,
Actually, if I might give you a little fact here, this arcade cabinet here is the European arcade cabinet.
Oh.
The Japanese one was shorter. It was more like the Astro City in size. And so they did make a few for Europe. I think this may be the only surviving one of that era. But yeah, so in the arcades it was released in Europe, but there was one here at the Trocadero at Sega World, but it was a single player only game, which for a sports game is kind of counterintuitive, especially in the arcades. It would have been fun. So it would take another 23 years for it to not only come to VR but also become a multiplayer title.
Yeah. And I do believe when you were last on the show, we talked a little bit about VR as well. And what you said now, I think you said then about Sega being like the first, the pioneers of the whole VR experience. Was the plan always to make a VR version of this game? Or did that come about because, you were working with Ryan and...
No, I was working with I always, it was always VR. Yeah. Even the Last Worker was originally conceived as a VR game, and it was later on when we started talking to publishers, and a lot of them said like, well, you also need to make a flat version to make it worthwhile, and blah blah blah. So it's like, yeah, to me it was always a VR game. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Was it hard to get Sega to give you the go ahead?
Half of the people or more at Sega don't even know what Cosmic Smash is anymore, because the sort of it is also for on the corporate level an obscure game, and I imagine that some people within Sega probably thought like it's really not worth us spending any time on something like this when we can be making the next Sonic or whatever movie or T-shirt or whatever is happening on that level, and I get it, because I'm wearing this Sonic T-shirt.
Really nice T-shirt, by the way.
But this one is actually 30 years old. It's from my childhood, and it's still holding up, which is crazy.
And it still fits.
It fits again. Actually, I wasn't. Yeah. But yes, and so yeah, it was hard. It took 2 years, I think, to convince them essentially. So it was a bit of a process. But I think I have a feeling, I can't speak for Sega, but so far all of the echoes we've been getting from them has been nothing but positivity and joy. I mean, people are happy that it's turned into what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah, quite
excellent.
Satisfying to see photos of like people in Sega HQ actually playing the game, and they just they felt a need to show us that they were playing it. I'm not sure why, but it was just really nice to see, kind of in the depths of development and questioning certain choices you made in design and so on, and then seeing that the actual, not just a kind of written feedback, but somebody just playing it and laughing. It's like, yeah, right. We're actually, we're on track here. That's all right.
What I love, I'm definitely the biggest Sega nerd on the whole sort of creative team or team in general on this game, I would say. But Ryan had a Dreamcast. It is gathering dust somewhere, I think, isn't it, Ryan?
I think I'm not sure where it's gone, to be honest.
It's a tragic story, but
somewhere.
Please edit that out.
Saw me Mega Drive for a few pounds at some point as well, which I'm kind of
very, very sad. Very sad.
I had an arcade stick.
Well, Ryan is technically a traitor, but I think he's earned his way back into the Sega family.
He redeemed himself.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I think so.
No, but I'm just really, really proud that it feels like we had this amazing review, like one of the first reviews that was posted for the game. I think it was Creative Block wrote that one, and they said it's the best Sega game not made by Sega. And I was like, that is a freaking cool, review. That was an amazing
High
quote.
praise. High
Yeah.
praise.
That's yeah.
So by the way, Ryan, were you familiar with Cosmic Smash at all before Jörg told you about it?
No.
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 Let's be honest. No, not at all.
No, I missed that one. I did have I didn't realize, but I've learned obviously since in the process that we were based on Virtua Tennis's technology, and that were a staple of the Dreamcast in the student flat, where we would just, especially the mini games on Virtua Tennis as well.
It is what's really exciting is that this is a very Japanese rooted game as a Sega as a company, and we are going to Japan next week, Ryan and I, which I'm very excited about. We're going to Kyoto on Monday, and there's a show there. There's a games festival called Bit Summit, and we'll be showing off C-Smash VRS on the show floor there. We'll also launch a new level in the game, which will be playable only at Bit Summit at first. And this one is going to feature Tracked by Uncle. So I don't know if you know the band Uncle, but they have just remixed one of Kenishi's tracks, and it's an incredible track. And so there's an incredible new level in there. So that's just the beginning of some of the new musical and other content that will be coming to C-Smash VRS in the future. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Let's talk about that in a little bit. Another question. Why not go with Cosmic Smash for the title? Why did you decide to go with C-Smash VRS? Any particular reason behind that?
Well, there's always brands, when they sort of sit unattended for a couple of decades, may sort of get complications in certain territories and stuff. And so we, in order to avoid that, we went for C-Smash VRS for the title. And it's not like Cosmic Smash is a well-established sort of brand in that way. Us as creatives, we cared about the vision behind it more than sort of licensing a brand and turning it into something lesser than it used to be, which is what happens a lot. But
there were definitely talk about keeping it in some territories, but it felt like clean break. We have something new, we have something different, we have something that it takes its kind of heritage from there, but it's certainly not a
and it's even more futuristic, right? C-Smash, like more, I don't know, more radical, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly. Am I an old man? Maybe. Yes.
But aren't we all? But we play video games, so we're man children, and that's okay.
That's okay. C-Smash VRS, it is. Okay. People who've been playing, and as you said, giving it high praise, which is amazing, have been experiencing a single player like challenges, like there's the orbits, right? The upgrades, the power-ups. Why did you decide to go this route of having like this structure of like stages and bosses and whatnot? What was behind that decision of creating this content for single player mode? Because you could have just gone with like multiplayer, like a multiplayer experience, right?
Yeah, the kind of solo journey mode. The original had that cosmic bus and the whole kind of idea of traveling, but we wanted to, we had different ideas about it being this kind of dystopian game, and there were all sorts of kind of things floating around. But we decided very early on that we wanted this utopian thing, this kind of magical place that you could go to. We'd just done a few years of dystopia, fun dystopia. Don't get me wrong, but it's. It felt like we needed a tone for this that welcomed you in, It's kind of part of the overall idea of the game. And then, the journey kind of stemmed from that kind of idea of a cosmic bus. But, for there to be some sort of threat at the end of the line, for there to be something that actually, you're working towards, and that's where the black hole, the kind of distant initially, but, impending threat came into it. And so, we built in the black hole, and then the journey idea, this idea of being able to choose a route, being able to optimize your route, and being able to kind of take your own direction, choose your own power ups as you're going. Just to add that kind of variation in each playthrough, and things are randomized, levels are randomized, and so each time you go through it, a journey might take you 20, 25 minutes, but it's about, that next journey and that next journey after that, and, really optimizing, improving the times. And then ultimately we're going to be aiming for people to be, posting the scores and working towards a kind of higher score. But initially it's going to be, people, even trying to get through that journey in the first place, and then improving times, and then, looking at the nuances of which levels to go for, or which power-ups are best for them, and kind of, refining the process, and then, being able to get through it faster and harder and improve those scores as you do that.
I mean, in a way, like if you take a look at the routes, and we were talking about Outrun earlier, I mean, what was beautiful about Outrun is that you were traveling somewhere as opposed to, escaping into a place that hates you. It's a very welcoming world. So which you travel and you choose your own route. There's all these multiple paths that you can take on it. And so Sega, to my knowledge, is the first company that did that. And of course, it was also a very music-driven game, Outrun. I mean, you cannot think of Outrun without hearing at least one of the tunes in your head. And so that was very important to us, to sort of give people the idea of traveling. And of course, if you have something like the cosmic bus or shuttle or whatever you call it, the idea of travel is inherent in that. We want to take people places, and since it's called cosmic, we need to see the stars, and so all of this. So we've built on it. We wanted to expand on the original game's vision, and build on that, and riff on that, and we may very well be the first sort of roguelite sort of sports game, because which is awesome, and it's original. So it's both harkening back to something that Sega perhaps started with a sort of multi-path sort of journey, but at the same time also riffing on modern game design and ideas that are now becoming more and more called for, actually. And so it's
kind of a more forgiving arcade experience. The fact that you can learn how it works, and improve and optimize how you travel through it, rather than a traditional arcade experience where it just wants your money.
Exactly. That's true. That's basically it. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting point of view. Thank you for sharing. How long, by the way, did it take you to develop this? Because we learned about this not that long ago, earlier this year, right? That's when you started.
I think that's basically when we started working on it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we heard about.
2-3 weeks, basically. Yeah,
yeah, close. Yeah, so I think it's fair to say, 13 months. There were there were a prototype before. There were a little bit of thinking, but obviously you don't want to commit too much before everything's in place. So I'd say 13 months to launch, which is 10 months to the demo, which the demo were a fully online custom physics. The core of the game was there in the demo. So it's been a very quick turnaround.
Smashed it. But I mean, it was, I mean, it was a couple of years ago or something like that, where Corey Schmitz and Dan Clark, also known as Archetype, like two graphic designers, and I sat down and just like did the logo essentially, and like try to find, like, explore the sort of some of the design aesthetics that we would go for. How do we modernize something that really felt modern at the time? But now you look at Cosmic Smash, and there are certain things that have aged, mostly tech related. There are certain transparencies and other things that the Dreamcast couldn't render as well. There's certain shaders that it wouldn't have been able to pull off, and blah blah blah. And so that was the beginning, and then basically that we used that in order to convince Sega to grant us the right to do it. And then it would and when that eventually happened, which would take almost 2 years, then it's been a year, a year essentially of development with the team. And it's just amazing how, I mean, it's you set out to do this kind of thing, and most people are like, yeah, sure, I could pull it off. And most game development always takes twice as long as people set out. But there's something about C-Smash, the way we all approached it from the very beginning, where it was just like the look of it in a way. It was like pared back and designed. Like, it was just very designed, wasn't it? Like from the beginning, we were like, yeah, we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do it. And
there was like a very clear vision to
yes,
wanted
clear.
to create, right?
Yeah, and very, like, I don't know, it's like, it feels to me, it's felt like a palate cleanser. Like, after all these years of working on these dense and textured sort of films, and also games and all this stuff with like actors and stuff, and all this noise in a way, to go to something this clean has felt really, really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for us it's been massively like just that refining a single interaction, rather than refining lots of different mechanics and pieces and whatnot. It's like there is, like, you've got a bat or a racket, but you've got a racket, and then there's a ball, and then there's the opponent or the blocks, and it's it's like very stripped back, very simple. And we've been able to. There's obviously a lot of layers in the kind of how we how we direct things, how we make things travel. As I mentioned briefly earlier, just about the
physics,
like custom,
right?
Yeah, completely custom layer to get the least amount of latency as possible. So the whole thing is, obviously very complex in the back end, but because it is all just layers and layers that work towards the same just purity, the same goal. It's been really satisfying to work on, and when it feels right, you're with it.
Yeah.
What's exciting to me as well is that it is actually I think it's taught me what making a game should feel like always. Like it is because it is pure gameplay, and I think it sort of reminded me of what makes games feel so good and what I love about them so much. It's like, and there's a reason why first-person shooters are what they are and why they are so popular, because people have been honing that one single mechanic for so long to a point where
that's true. Yeah,
it feels perfect, right? I mean, I don't like shooting people in the face, but I also very much respect how they've honed this mechanic perfectly. And I feel that our game does this for racket sport. Like, it has really, really perfected the feel of ball to racket, and smashing a thing with it on the other side. And that is video games to me. It's like, you get
when you think about it, it sounds and looks something very simple and easy to pull off, right? Because you just do one thing throughout the whole game, basically. But when you really think about it, the physics involved, the whole concept, the visuals, it's not that easy to pull off, right? It has a lot of intricacies behind it. So, and it's maybe when you have a lot of things to do, you like mask some of the imperfections. But when you're always doing the same thing, it has to really, really, you have to do it well, perfectly. Resonate. Yeah. So people, otherwise people will say, "Oh no, this is crap. This doesn't work." Right? It's easier to
but it's like
find the imperfections, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, minimalism is the hardest thing to achieve. Like in many ways, it's super hard to achieve because it can look crap and empty and barren and boring. And the thing that we wanted to avoid using like cheap particle effects and other things to sort of make something feel alive. So everything in the game was down to like how do we create the idea of a particle effect without using particle effects. So for instance, when the ball hits the wall or a panel or whatever or brick, there's this sort of ripple effect that happens with these embedded dots that are in all the texture in all of the surfaces, and it feels organic, but it is completely not, and it is not the way real things behave. But it feels really satisfying because everything we've done, we've stuck to the rule of making everything graphic design. Yeah.
That visual were in the original pitch deck as well, where we went from that kind of ball shape, and then we pulled in like a visual of a Zen garden, where you've got the kind of raked ripples around a stone. And we just, from that very early conception, the ideas, of being kind of there, it's been something that we've had a clear idea of. We built some pillars early on, and we kind of had to pull back to those in the process. And there's always it's quite easily to get kind of sidetracked on things. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we did? But ultimately, you do need to like stay very focused and very on point. And I think one of the obviously the big differences of taking something that's a third person athletic, Adonis game, and then giving the racket to someone, there is a huge kind of step even in that. So it's like, how do we make this difficult enough but easy enough at the same time? It has to have that kind of like crossover between the two. You don't want to be too have too many assists or too many kind of hand holding things, but at the same time it needs to be accessible to people. So there is a definite balance, which I mean, obviously, I'm going to say
that also is like the key to the perfect arcade game as well, right? So it has to keep keep you wanting to come back, even though it's taking all of your money, right? But it takes your money because you want to come back, because you feel like one more try, and I'll be able to progress a little bit more. So that's the key, I feel, for the perfect arcade experience.
That's come up in reviews as well, that kind of one more round idea, which is as far as what anybody enjoys about video games, I think, but I certainly do, is that thing where you're about to go to bed and you're about to switch it off, but it's like, oh, just do this little, and then you're drawn in and you're late for work.
But also the core experience also has to be so fun that you don't feel like you're losing, right? Ever. And I think that is because to me, an outrun, I might not make it. If I play it on regular normal mode in the arcade machine or something, I might not make it past the first 3 branches, for instance, or whatever. Sometimes if I mess up, and I don't regret it. I was like, wow, this was beautiful. This was thrilling. And as same with Sega Rally, I mean, only has 4 tracks if you make it that far. But it feels great if you lose on the first one. Like it's like you're sort of like, I didn't make it to the second track because I messed up, but it was perfect. Like I messed up perfectly, and the way it registered in the game was perfect.
You blame yourself, not the game, right?
That's it. And with C-Smash we're a bit more forgiving. But what I love about it, you keep wanting to come back to it, and that feeling is quite rare these days, I think, because a lot of games are like sort of like Tomb Raider-esque sort of things where you have this goals and everyone's shooting at you and whatever, and you don't necessarily, you feel almost obliged to have to go through it in order to see the next scene. Whereas here we don't have scenes, there's no story, there's just gameplay. It's really nice.
Well put. Well put. Okay, so just one more question about like the gameplay itself. You have online modes as well, right? Are there any plans to encourage online multiplayer? So like tournaments, is there something that you're considering or would consider for the future?
Definitely. So we are. Well, first of all, we're going to start on the community level. We had to get the game finished first. Well, we had to get the game out first. But yeah, we will do community meetups, and we will organize people that way. We also have plans for the game to become an esport. So there is a larger vision. I don't want to give too much away, but of course, being as small a collection of people as we are, we had to be careful and not sort of overshoot, because otherwise, everybody loses. So, but yes, I'm glad that the appetite is there for it, and we will be there to quench that thirst.
Yeah.
Not sure if inspiring or ominous, but okay.
Yeah, there's definitely there's things like in weeks rather than months that are definitely going to be helpful, and there's the answers to those questions. But yeah, it's all stuff that we're kind of taking a step at a time while we while we're working on them. So yeah, there's definitely things on the horizon that I think will make a big difference. And obviously, as Jörg says, on the community level.
Okay.
David, just one thing. In 10 minutes, I have to run just because I've got to get back to my kids. That's okay. Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay.
No, you can't see your kids.
You can if you get
if you
through,
pick one.
If you get through our very quick SEGA Lounge challenge of the week.
Now that you know our guests, it's time to put them to the test. It's the moment we've waited for, and the moment they dread.
Welcome to your doom.
I mean, welcome to the SEGA Lounge Challenge.
Last time you were here, Jörg, we had a musical challenge. Okay. I played clips of Dreamcast games, and you had to guess the game they were from. This time we're going to do things a little bit differently. Okay, so we're going to have like a generic Sega quiz. Okay, and you can work together in order to allow Jörg to see his kids. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Don't let me down.
I like
let me
high
down,
stakes.
Ryan.
This is good.
Okay, so 10 rounds. And we're going to be quick. We're going to be quick. So you can pick between, the goal is 10 points, okay? You can pick between easy and hard questions. Easy questions get you 1 point. Hard questions, 2 points. So it's up to you. Round 1, easy or hard?
Hard.
Start easy.
Hard.
Oh, you're going in
let's
hard.
start hard. Let's start hard. Hard.
Let's go hard. I like it.
I have no time. Come on.
I like it. Let's go hard. What's the name of the tactical RPG released for the 3DS in 2012 in Japan and 2013 in the West, which features characters from Bandai Namco, Capcom, and SEGA games?
Oh my God, yes.
He knows it.
God, I have it.
A 3DS tactical RPG with Bandai Namco, Capcom, and SEGA games.
I think it's 2 words or 3, but it has something like Valkyrian Chronicles or something like that. But I can't think of the bloody title now. So, challenge lost, I think.
Any idea, Ryan?
Symphony of something.
Symphony or something.
No, it wasn't Symphony. What was it?
I'll give you a hint.
Yes.
It's Project something.
Project. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's all that you'll get from me.
Project. Yeah, I forgot. I have it. I have the game. And that's all
So,
I get.
No?
No.
I've got
idea?
no clue.
Project Cross Zone.
Yes.
Like for crossover, Project Cross Zone. So no points here. No points. Unfortunately.
Sound.
No. Okay. Round two is a musical round. So I have a short clip
Brilliant.
for you guys to hear and tell me which game this is from. Let's take a listen. It's a Sega game.
So it's
Sega game.
that is it's an arcade game. Is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a Yu Suzuki game, isn't it?
It could be. Could be.
Oh, you
Is it Radmobile? No. It's not. But
I mean, is that your answer? This is a very well-known game. Probably a little bit more than the one that you just mentioned.
It's not Rapid
after. Oh God, tell me, Space Harry. I don't know. Which one is it?
Got Space Harry.
It was Space Harry. It was Space Harry. Yeah, thank you. It was Space. See, I knew it was Yu Suzuki in arcade. Thank you very much. Okay, good
job.
Come on, Ryan, help my children here. I'm alone in this.
Round 3, easy or hard?
But there was 3 points, right?
That was 2 points. So easy or hard?
I think we should go
2
easy.
points.
Easy, okay.
Easy, okay. Interestingly enough, upon starting a game of Space Harrier, what words are you greeted with?
Oh my God, dude. We just released a game. We're tired, okay?
You play Space Harrier, start the game, and you hear certain words.
I know. What's the first? Just give me the first letter.
W. I'm giving you too many hints.
Where?
Where are you? No, it's not.
Work it, baby.
Who are you?
Hang on, hold on.
What the
I'm
hell
nearly
are
there.
you doing here?
Welcome
To
to Space Harrier.
I'm watching the video of it.
Oh!
It says Space Harrier, press start button, Sega,
It's an audio thing.
stage
Welcome
1
to
route.
welcome something.
Most honest contestant ever. So welcome.
Yeah.
I'm not doing very well at cheating.
The correct answer is
Yeah.
welcome to the fantasy zone.
There
Get
you go.
ready. Get
There
ready.
you go. Yeah, but
Yes.
but welcome was enough, and I did it beautifully. So give me 1 point. 1 point. Come on, my kids are waiting. I have to leave here in 7 minutes.
Round 4. Very quickly. Another song. Tell me the game.
Shenmue. Oh
Is it?
no.
He was like, Shenmue. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just asking, is it?
Yes, it is Shenmue.
Go for it.
It is. Yes, of course it's Shenmue.
When that game came out, I played it for 16 hours straight one day. But I can't remember that. It's 20 odd years ago.
But it is Shenmue. It is Shenmue. Well done. Well done. Question 5. Easy or hard?
Let's go hard, because I
go hard.
have 6 minutes left, and I want to
Let's
make those
go.
points.
Let's go. In Shenmue 2, what morning task does Ryo have to perform every day at Manmo Temple? There's a part in the game you go to a temple, and each morning Rio has to do something. The main character has to do something.
Can you do a multiple choice question for us, please?
Yes. Option A, feed the cat. Option B, air out the books. Option C, go to the garden and water the flowers.
B.
B, which is? You don't even know.
Air out the books.
Air out the books. Air out the books.
Does that sound like a job?
Do you agree?
I feel like
Ryan?
it's gonna be the cat or the gardening, surely. What's airing out books? Who airs out books? Except for
I saying
Ryo.
that.
I feel
Hazuki-san,
like
please.
I feel like there's gonna
Hazuki-san.
be a cat.
I don't know. So you have to
Oh, I don't,
figure
I
it
don't-
out.
I don't
A,
wanna
B, or
put
C.
Kids on the line.
So because he said it first, yes, it's B. It's air out
B?
the books. Yes, yes, it is.
I
It
thought so.
is. Yes, the cat is in Shenmue 1. You have the cat. You can feed the cat. You don't have to. You can, but this is a required task in Shenmue 2. At some point, you have to air out the books. Okay,
So how many points
Yes.
do we have now? I'm doing well.
6.
We're doing well, sorry.
6
Six.
points.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not taking any credit. I couldn't even Google the answer quick enough.
Song number 3. Take a listen.
What era? Could you give us a clue?
Well, that's 16-bit.
Are we like Echo?
It's
No,
a
no, no.
Dreamcast game.
Is it?
right.
God.
Sounded
Can you play it again?
Should
One
I
more
play it
time?
again?
Yeah. Sonic Adventure.
Ryan, do you concur?
I don't. Yeah, I've got no idea. I'll go on. I'll concur.
Final answer, Sonic Adventure. So first of all, no. It's Cosmic Smash.
Is it?
My God. The song is called The Cosmic Smash. It's the main song.
It's not the main song. This song
It
is not the main song.
Yeah, like I think it's the credits theme or something. And your score is
There is a
Have a
reason
blast.
there's a reason why we have an original soundtrack in our game.
it's better than the original.
No disrespect.
No disrespect, but it's much. Okay. Anyway,
Somebody
round
just on the
7.
keyboard.
Round 7.
We're super fans of the original game. We promise.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
that's
easy or
pure
hard?
Casio. Hard. You've got a chance seeing your kids.
Okay. Hard it is. Okay, let's go with this one. In the promotional material for which game did Sega claim that it says RPG has changed?
Skies of Arcadia.
Why?
Shenmue.
Why? Let's say all the games we know. So Sega claimed that RPG has changed. That's like a big claim, right? That's like a major
it-
statement here.
Shenmue.
PGR.
Project Gotham Racing? No. Maybe not. So your answer is
Shenmue.
yes. It is 2 points. It is. It is
Yeah,
Shenmue.
there weren't many
Okay.
RPGs in forklift trucks, so
So RPG has indeed changed.
yeah.
Okay,
So-
how are the points? Where are we at?
2 points left.
Okay.
2 points left.
Okay, let's do a hard one. Come on.
Last song.
Yeah,
last
yeah.
song for 2 points. Last song for 2 points.
Confident about
Focus, Ryan and Jörg.
Sonic, some sort of Sonic game, right?
That does sound more like my era.
Some sort of Sonic game. Would you like to? Would you care to be more specific?
On the Sega thing.
On this, yeah, exactly. That blue hedgehog.
Yeah, it's
Thingy.
some fast guy.
Look at your shirt.
Sonic 2.
Yes, it's Sonic to Chemical Plant Zone. And Ryan was like, "What? What about my shirt?
I've got a pocket.
It's in your pocket," and that means you get
some Darren Brown
5
stuff. Yeah.
10 points.
Yeah. Pure
10
magician.
points. Well done. Good job. So, Jörg, you get to see your kids.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, your cheating sucked.
I couldn't even
I was
Google
on
it.
my own here.
I would try.
I will let you go in a few seconds. I have two more questions. Just so regarding the music, we just mentioned that the music in the original was interesting. Tell me the reasoning behind the music and your choice of musicians and soundtrack style. Why did you go with that?
Well, I love Kenny Shi. I think he's a great electronic musician, and he made a incredible song over 20 years ago. And I met him in New York at the time when I was a game journalist. But it wasn't for a game; it was a song called "Extra," which is, I think, the greatest animated music video of all time. And so check it out. I'll put it in the sort of show notes. That someone has made an HD version of it. Like they used some AI technology to sort of like sharpen it up because it's so old. So "Extra" by Kenny Shi was incredible. It was directed by Koji Morimoto, who is a great animator who had trained under Otomo, the Akira director, and then also directed one of the 3 films in Memories, which was Katsuhiro Otomo's amazing anthology. Anyway, I'm nerding out here, but I love Kenny Shi, and he's amazing. And he also, of course, also worked on Res and Res Infinite, where he contributed one of the beautiful tracks for that game. And since C-Smash is a reimagining of a game from the same era as Res. I mean, technically, Cosmic Smash came out first because the arcade game came out a good 9 months before Res then launched on Dreamcast. I felt it would be amazing to work with Ken on something more substantial and to have more tracks done. And so I contacted him, and he said yes, which was incredible. And then also in the meantime fell in love with a band called Soccer 96 and another band called The Comet Is Coming, which are actually both founded or co-founded by the same guy, one of the same guys, I guess. Danilog is his name, and approached him, and he also said yes. And then suddenly we had 2 incredible top musicians making music for the game. So, but I was always making sure that that Ryan and team love like these musicians, because you wouldn't want to be spending hours and months, working on listening to some that whatever that track was we listened to earlier.
Have a blast. Okay.
I feel bad now. We're bad mouthing this track. It's terrible.
Oh God, yeah. So my final question about the game, and then we can let Jörg go and have the last question ever is for Ryan. But final question about the game. Are there, and I know there are, but are there nods to the original? like Easter eggs that people can expect to find playing C-Smash, or to the original, or to the Dreamcast, or something like that you guys included? So
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's hardly hidden, the cosmonauts that you see dotted around everywhere, the kind of building work that's going on. It's all a nod to that kind of credit sequence where, they're walking around with cosmic wheelbarrows, which seems completely random when you look back at it.
But also there may be some things flying past the windows occasionally that may have a little bit of a nod to a thing or two.
Yeah.
Yes, like some sort of thing you hold in your hand. Yes. So for people who haven't played the game and are eager to find some Easter eggs or something, it's a good incentive as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're definitely expanding on that. On that credit sequence. We're building a whole space station around, and the cosmonauts are just having fun. They're inviting you in to do that, and that's what Cosmic Smash is all about.
And I think it's a testament to how incredible and actually very rich the original game was. There was so much lore actually built in the original game that we could build on, that some people might have not even noticed, maybe that because they didn't get all the way to the title sequence. And it takes a sort of form of sort of madness, perhaps, and a mad confidence to keep so much world building till the end. But they did. But it's, it even had for those who know the original game, if you actually ace each level, and if you finish it on a Trick Smash, as it was called in the original game, we have called Power Smash in our game because it's a nod to the fact that Power Smash, which was later on called Virtua Tennis in the Western market, was the game which actually it shared some of the ball physics with and stuff. But anyway. If you aced all of the levels, at the end you would encounter a human boss on the opposite side. And so actually, technically, if you aced the original game, it was a teaser for C-Smash VRS.
Oh my
just
God.
Didn't know it.
Mind blown.
When they were making that keyboard music.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Anyway, yes.
But David, it's been an absolute pleasure being on your show. I'm sorry I have to run
Jörg,
to my kids.
thank you so much for joining
I bought
us.
the right to see my
Yes.
children.
Thank you
I've
very
earned
much,
it.
Jörg. Nice seeing you again. You're
Thank
welcome
you.
on the show anytime. Ryan, one more question. Last question. And I didn't want to ask Jörg because he already answered it last time. There was a thing in the US back in the Genesis Mega Drive days. They said the Genesis had blast processing. It was supposed to be something that made the Genesis more powerful and faster than the competition. So my question for all of my guests is, if you could add blast processing, which is obviously a real thing, if you could add blast processing to anything in the world, what would it be and why?
Right. The whole world is quite a subject, and the only thing I can think is quite depressing. So, I feel quite bad about putting it at the end of what's been quite a jolly fun time. Trying to answer questions, but I think cures for cancer, or there are certain things that have affected, I'd say, most people, certainly 1 in 2. So, let's go with something like that. 'Cause, everything else is going to seem frivolous in comparison.
That's true. It could benefit from blast processing for sure.
Yeah,
which is obviously a real thing. Yes.
Very
powerful thing. Not a marketing made up thing. No.
Jörg's Boris Johnson thing came true, so it's if there's a cure for cancer in the next, I don't know, let's say year, I'm taking the credit.
Okay. Next time you're here, we'll see if it worked.
Yeah.
Ryan, thank you very much for joining us for this show as well. All the best for you, for Jörg, for the team. Really excited to see what you can come up with next. Not just in terms of C-Smash, but future projects. And you're more than welcome to come back in the future to talk about them.
Brilliant. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot for C-Smash in the future still. And yeah, obviously, like any game developer, we've always got, a million ideas on the go and a load of different things that we want to do and start. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Excellent. And really excited for that as well. So thank you, Ryan.
Nice one. Take it easy.
Big thanks to both Jörg and Ryan for their time and for being such lovely guests. Full disclosure, a lot of editing was done to remove the sound of banging doors since Ryan was recording the interview on a stairwell. That meant a lot of fun office-related banter was removed too, which was a shame. And why did the cleaning lady decide that she should show up, vacuum in hand, during our recording session? We will never know. Anyway, check out C-Smash VRS, which is out now for PSVR 2. Also, a special thanks to our good friend James Skill Jim Brown of the Shenmue Dojo, who contributed a lot of questions and information to help me prepare for this interview. That guy's a legend, but you already knew that. He's practically here every week. All jokes aside, thanks for the assist, dude. And on that note, it's closing time yet again. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and if that's the case, be sure to return next time for more Sega-related conversation. Feel free to leave the Sega Lounge a positive review on your podcast app if you're so inclined. That would be much appreciated. Have a great week, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. The Sega Lounge, hosted by me, KC, and part of Radio Sega's network of live shows and podcasts. Theme song and incidental music by OSC. Find them at opussciencecollective.bandcamp.com. Got any suggestions? Drop me an email to podcast@thesegalounge.com. Find us at The Sega Lounge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find previous episodes of the show by going to thesegalounge.com and wherever fine podcasts are downloaded. A Mixed On Productions podcast.